We're back on. We are back live. We are out of executive session. I need a motion to leave executive session. Could I have a motion? I'm sorry. Trustee Tobin, second.
Second.
Thanks, Trustee Fiegel. We have a second discussion. Roll call for all in favor.
Trustee Fiegel?
Aye.
Trustee Hare?
Aye.
Trustee Kershaw?
Aye.
Trustee Lamb-Bowser?
And Trustee Lamb-Bowser.
I think he left the building.
Trustee Pratt?
Aye.
Trustee Tobin?
Aye.
Trustee Young? Okay, and President Linderman.
Aye.
Did Trustee Lamb-Bowser come back yet? He did not. Okay.
No, we do have a majority to come out of executive session, though.
Yes, we do.
We are out of executive session, and I welcome anyone in the public viewing tonight's meeting, and we appreciate you sticking around and coming back with us.
Can I, Trustee Lamb-Bowser, real quick?
Trustee Lamb-Bowser, we came out of executive session.
Are you in agreement? Aye. Okay, thank you. There we go.
And with that, next item on our agenda tonight is a discussion of the 2020-2021 budget. And I'm going to turn it over to Superintendent Bradley.
Thank you, President Linderman. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, Governor Cuomo has issued Executive Order number 202.26, establishing the date and associated procedures for the 2020 annual school board election and budget vote. As a result, school districts are expected to adopt an expenditure budget for the 2020-2021 school year over the next couple of weeks. This evening, the Lockport City School District Board of Education will discuss a potential expenditure budget and a variety of scenarios related to revenue reductions in the areas of foundation aid or the pandemic adjustment allocation. It's possible that cuts could come this week from the governor's office, but next week is more likely. There's nothing reliable on a specific amount for the Lockport City School District at this time. When the governor speaks to cut by 20% or whatever percentage eventually comes out, that doesn't mean that every district would be cut by the same amount. This year, we're looking at a year for 2020-2021 to resemble more like the gap elimination adjustment that we experienced in the last financial crisis. But the years following 2020 and 2021 could include more specific aid cuts in specific areas. So with that, at this time, I'd like Ms. Coder, our Assistant Superintendent for Finance and Management Services, to present some information and the facts that we know them at this time to the Board of Education, which will follow with a discussion segment. Debbie?
Thank you, Superintendent Bradley. Hello, good evening, Board of Trustees up there on the big screen. So, and to our community who may be participating at home. Earlier today at about 4:20 p.m., I emailed all audit committee members some additional documents, and I'm going to start with those. And it starts out with titled, What the District Does Know. So hopefully you all have that. Trustee here, you're looking intently. It was in your email, about 4:30-ish. You got it?
No.
And your emails? All right, I'll read through it. It is there.
You said what's at the top of the page?
It'll say what the district does know. None of you got it?
I got some audit committee
Yes, it was in there.
minutes.
Yeah. Yes, there was 3 attachments. This was the first attachment.
No.
I believe my page came up blank.
What we got was, it says revenue budget at the top, and then we got the 2 meeting minutes.
Yeah.
All right.
You want,
I'm checking the scanning. So it's okay. We can go through it and I'll resend it after the meeting's over.
Debbie, I
So-
can scan it right now if you want.
Yes,
And
please.
send it to them.
Yes, thank you very much. So what I wanted to go over was what the district does know. We do know that the expenditure budget must be adopted by May 15th, 2020, as per the most recent executive order. We do know that the current fund balance analysis shows the district will be able to meet all of its financial obligations for the 2020-21 school year. We do know that the district does have a 5-year long-range fiscal plan that is reviewed by the Audit Committee of the Board of Education. We do know the district has facilities that are maintained and stable. We do know the district has sufficient technology for remote learning. We also know that we are also aware of the New York State measurement periods, the first of which the superintendent alluded to ended on April 30th, 2020. The second measurement period is May 1st through June 30th, 2020. And the third measurement period is July 1st, 2020 to December 31st, 2020. We do know that the district budget vote is Tuesday, June 9th, 2020 by absentee ballot only. And the trustee candidates, we are aware they do not need to carry petitions, but they do need to file an attestation form that they are eligible to serve. Now, what the district does not know is the first measurement period outcome. We're still waiting to hear what that looks like for our district. Will there be additional state aid cuts? And what areas the reductions will be made? Will they be made in foundation aid? Will they be made on expense-based aid, such as BOCES and transportation? Will there be a pandemic adjustment reduction? We also don't know if there will be a 4th phase of federal stimulus money. We are also hearing rumors, but we don't know for sure if New York State will offer a retirement incentive next year. And then we're still not sure what the educational program will look like in September 2020, how learning standards will be executed, how students will receive social and emotional supports, how students will be transported safely. It could be 1 student per seat, and how students will receive their meals. They may be eating in the classrooms, or they may be in for a limited day and going home and taking it with them. So that's what we do now. Now, Lisa Schrader should be sending you over. So there were 2 colorful documents. One is called hypothetical number 1 and the other is hypothetical number 2. In your packet today that was delivered to your homes, you had a document very similar that the audit committee reviewed yesterday. This morning, we added 3 additional scenarios in the event the pandemic adjustment might have been reduced. So as I call your attention to the doc, does everybody have this? Did they get it from Lisa? Yes, I see a couple. Yes, I got a thumbs up.
We did get that from you, Debbie. It was the other document we didn't get.
Oh, all right.
Hypothetical 1, hypothetical 2 came across twice.
Okay.
I have 2
alrighty.
copies of each. I don't have the original thing that you had
Okay.
held up.
All right. Okay, that'll be coming. Trustee Figu, would you be able to mute your computer? Are you there?
Yeah.
Could you? We're just getting some background noise. Thank you. Just we're adding. Thank you. So under hypothetical 1, in the yellow, it's for if state aid found. Thank you, Trustee Figu. State aid foundation. On April 27th, there was a memo that stated districts could experience a 20% reduction. So if that were to come to fruition, 20% of the foundation aid is a reduction of $7,478,507. Now, what if it was 10%? Well, that would be $3,739,253. So when you follow those columns down, and now if it were even attributable to the categorical aids, you can see what 20% and 10% would have looked like if it was on transportation or building or public or private access costs. So those are all available to you. Then in the green, it's the pandemic adjustment. Now, as you're aware, the governor made a pandemic adjustment of $1,611,585. He also, though, put in a federal CARES restoration, which is highlighted in the purple, of $1,611,585. The audit committee yesterday saw the scenario. Well, there was rumors, what if he change the pandemic adjustment by 50%. So then it would just be a reduction of $805,793. But then what does that really mean for the district? Can we still apply through the Federal CARES Act for $1,611,585? Well, if we can, then that would actually garner us an additional $475,712 in state aid. But if he reduces the pandemic adjustment, which is in hypothetical number 2, by the 50%, and if we're only allowed to apply through the federal CARES restoration for what we actually got reduced, they even each other out. And then, as you can see, the district is in no better position. So there's also been noise out there that, well, maybe he'll reduce the pandemic adjustment by 30%. There's the number there, 483,476, or 20%, which is 322,317, or 10% by 161,159. I'm sure we can all agree, yes, reduce that pandemic take back from us, hooray. But he offset it by saying you can go to the Federal CARES Restoration Act and get 100% of it back on what I'm taking. So that is a wild card right now. So what audit committee discussed yesterday, and what I want you to feel comfortable with now is this district will be able to successfully implement its programs for the 2020-21 school year. Depending on the outcome of these measurement periods, and even what happens with the educational learning environment, what we have to face come the fall, some difficult decisions may have to be made with the district, and audit committee is probably going to be meeting a whole lot with me and the superintendent and Lisa. Right now, audit committee did see yesterday, they saw things we had done back in 2011, and it's an index sheet of non-mandated programs and the impact of those non-mandated programs on our educational system here. So we want all of you to know that we do have the experience to analyze the programs with the least minimal impact. But I want you to rest assured that you will make it through next year, even if one of these scenario, 20% of foundation aid and a cut of $7 million occurs and that's your next page, which is the estimated fund balance projection that you got earlier. You have $4,220,000 as 4% of next year's budget to draw upon. Because we have received some savings because of the pandemic, where you saw last time we were around 900,000 returned to general fund, it's looking out like 1.2 million. So that right there is $5 million. And then the audit committee was made aware they could move at June 30th money out of their reserve for employee benefits that has $6 million in it. They could move it into the insurance reserve fund for health that has $2 million in it, which would allow them to access that money easily next year. So if we get hit with a $7 million cut in state aid, we will make it through. Our checkbook might be a little lean, but we will make it through. All right. So that brings me to the budget that you have before you. totals $105,509,809. It is a 2.71% increase over this year's budget of $2,782,089. It does require a simple tax cap levy of $598,803. So it is balanced, and this is what we're hoping on your support next week. The other thing I want to mention is this budget vote is all by absentee ballot, and everybody has an opportunity, probably for the first time ever for all districts. You know, we might get a larger turnout. If the budget were to go down, we need to make additional cuts of $598,803. We're thinking that won't happen, but I just want you to be aware. We do have scenarios in place that if we did have to bring it down 598,000, we could, if we absolutely had to. But to make it any lower right now, and then if a budget went down, you're really going to start cutting into programs. So I'd like to open it up, Superintendent Bradley or President Linderman, for any questions.
With that, we will open it up for comments or questions from the board. Trustee Young.
So I just want to reiterate, and I know we say this every time we talk about the budget, but this amount isn't what we have to spend. It's just the most we can spend. So if we come fall find out that things are not looking great, we could not fill positions or do those things. It's not saying that we have to spend this money, all of it, if we say this is the amount. It's just that that's the most we can possibly spend, even if all money came through and everything was great.
Correct. That is a correct statement, Trustee Young. Yes.
Thank you, Trustee Young. Trustee Hare.
I guess my question is, I'm really excited that our voters are going to have even better access to be able to have their voices heard in this this round. It's interesting, but also, it's encouraging. I love that, but it's also a little nerve-wracking. We don't know how they're going to vote and how informed they are about just what Karen said or the process that we've been through if they've not been paying attention to our Zoom meetings here. Do we still have the newsletter going out ahead of the vote? Is it going to explain all of those things in enough detail that they'll be able to be informed about their vote?
Do you want me to take that, Superintendent? I'm trying to get unmuted.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yes, so that is something that we should discuss because we are required to send out a budget postcard, which is basically information about when voting will be and how it will be. And we can continue with a budget newsletter, but it won't be completed because we've had it on hold and we still don't have exact numbers until next week in terms of what the budget will be and the breakdown of the budget. So we would not be able to get together a budget newsletter in time to be distributed. So that's why we definitely need to go forward with the budget postcard, but we could distribute at a later time the budget newsletter if you want to continue with that.
Could we have the postcard refer people to the website to get more detail on the budget? And then.
So Trustee Hare, the way it's working now, the governor's executive order about polling, there has to be a postcard that's mailed out. We've never done it before, none of the districts. It's very similar to what the county does. They'll just mail out that little card saying, here's your polling location. If you want an absentee ballot, this is the date. So NTS, who we use for our elections, they're mailing out those cards next week. It's the week of the 17th. On the cards, it'll say, and it'll say,
Where'd you go, Deb?
Oh, I'm here. I'm unmuted. Can
No,
you hear
you're
me now?
good. Yeah.
Okay. I don't know what happened. I got my headphones in. So it will, can you hear me, Heather? You're looking like in close. Okay. So it will tell them if you're not a registered voter, you need to register with Niagara County Board of Elections by a certain date. The absentee ballots, they have to be in the homes by Monday, May 25th, but that's Memorial Day. So NTS is dropping the absentee ballots in the homes on Saturday, May 23rd. Your budget hearing is now going to be Wednesday, May 27th, because that's 14 days before the budget vote. It can't be any sooner than that. So it'll be a virtual budget hearing. We'll put everything on the website. We will try to get everything out there to the taxpayers, saying if you want more information, you can go get it. The thing is, and all of you know, when you get an absentee ballot, you're able right there and then to fill it out, put it in your postage paid envelope, and mail it right out. They will be getting those on the 23rd of May. Budget hearing is not till May 27th. The budget newsletter traditionally cannot go out until the day after the budget hearing, but no less than 6 days before the budget vote, which means the earliest a budget newsletter could get to residents would be Thursday, May 28th. So you can see with the governor's order and these wonderful timing situations, it kind of upends everything. But there is information on our website now. We will do everything to try to let people know where the information is. We're still going to do the 3-part budget. They're used to seeing that format. It'll be on the website. So that's our plan.
Okay. Well, I will do my part in making sure people I know know that we've been very, very thoughtful about this budget, and we should vote yes.
Trustee Pratt and then Trustee Young.
When it comes to the budget, I always have concerns about eating up reserves. When you eat up too much reserves, it makes it much more difficult. Everything we've heard about this pandemic is this economic crush is going to be for the next 3 to 4 years. If we eat up too much reserves in year one, it's going to make things very, very difficult for 2, 3, 4 years down the road. We all know we need more counselors, more guidance, more social workers, more conflict resolution people. But at the end of the day, we may, if we don't do it this year because we know we can balance our budget, you're going to be confronted with those issues years 2, 3, or 4. And I would really like to see a list of potential cuts if we have to make them, be it non-mandated or whatever, so that we can make some decisions if we don't want to eat that much reserves up this year. I'm really concerned about reserving some of our reserves for the future years. One thing that we had mentioned, maybe it was an audit committee yesterday, maybe it was last week, but there was a mention of the possibility of LEA wanted to sit down and talk about a district retirement incentive to entice some people to go out the door. And that was just within the district. But tonight, Debbie, you mentioned, or you have on your paperwork, about a New York State retirement incentive. What is that all about? Where did that come from?
Well, that's the rumor that's out there. And usually during tough fiscal times, the state normally offers a retirement incentive. The way they've been structured in the past, and I would anticipate being similarly structured, for every year of service, you would get 1 month of service credit. So if you had 24 years in the system, you could get 24 months of additional service credit. So instead of retiring with 24 years of service, you would retire with 26 years of service, which of course would, like, ×2, it just increases your monthly benefit as long as you're eligible to retire without penalty. Now, on the flip side, that's great because employees throughout the state love those, because who wouldn't want to get more service credit if you could get it and up your monthly payment? But there is a cost to the district, because what the New York teachers system does is then they back bill the districts. They will give it to us by employee's name and if they were to take the retirement incentive, what the cost would be to the district. So in essence, we pay part of that retirement incentive back to the retirement system. So once it's official and we get it, the Board of Education, we've done this in the past because they've offered them, we'll go through and we'll analyze it and say, is it fiscally advantageous to the district to offer the state retirement incentive? Or you as a district can offer a district retirement incentive that wouldn't involve you paying back the state, but it also wouldn't give the additional years of service to an employee, but it could be a different type of retirement incentive. Maybe a little boost in health insurance or a little more 403B money, something like that. There's also another, go ahead.
Anytime there's a state enhancement, there's a price tag with it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just the way those things work. I understand that. But anytime we do an in-house one, there's also a price tag coupled with that. Maybe we'll see what how this shakes out, but maybe you sit down and you negotiate. If it is a state enhancement, maybe you sit down with the union and look at possibly like a new higher pay freeze for a couple of years and recoup some of those monies. But I think that's very interesting that the state would even put that out there at this point. But we'll see where it comes down to.
Right, and it's rumor, it's nothing official, but the sources that we connect with on a regular basis, and it wouldn't be until next June is what we're hearing. So we'll have to follow it.
Any other questions?
Trustee Young again.
Regarding the absentee ballot, do they have to be postmarked by June 9th? Does the district have to receive them by June 9th? How does that work?
Excellent question. Thank you for bringing that up. The absentee ballots must be received here at the district office on June 9th by 5:00 p.m. So our mail normally comes about 10:30. Can you hear me? Because I feel like I'm cutting out. Normally comes at 10:30. But if somebody were to like, oh my God, I didn't make the mail, and they walked it up to the front door and knocked on the window, we would take it in. I'd also like to let you know, we talked about it in audit committee on how are we going to count these absentee ballots. All right, they are going to come in by ward, which is wonderful. They're going to have a barcode on them, which is great. So we can scan them in with the barcode and they will be registered in our election system. So, they'll come in, we'll know who voted. We won't know how they voted. We've reached out. You appointed our election inspectors back in March. We did reach out to the chairs of each ward and said to them, hey, if we can social distance you, would you come in and help us so that we've got this third party neutral, open up the absentee ballots? And I'm happy to report that all 8 chairs of the ward said yes. They were even cute. They were like, we've got our masks, don't you worry, we'll be in. So we do have them set up and arranged to come in. We're trying to figure out in the building, we're going to mark everything off tomorrow exactly where 6 feet is, and because we can't put all 8 wards in this boardroom. So I've got to use hallways, I've got to use conference rooms. So we're not sure how long it'll take. We've actually asked, I have a webinar tomorrow with the attorneys at noon. We've actually asked, when can we start opening the absentee ballots? Typically, you open them at the end of the mail day. So if it was 5 o'clock, like normally our budget votes noon to 9. So we would open any absentee ballots at 5. We don't get that many, maybe 40. If we have to wait until 5 o'clock to open up maybe 3,000 absentee ballots, we'll be here a long time, but it's okay. We'll stay and we'll get it done. But we're hoping we can start opening like at 8 o'clock in the morning and just keep going right through the day as they come in. So. Okay.
Thank you, Trustee. Any further questions or comments tonight? Okay. With that, do you have anything to add?
So I guess we're just looking to prepare for the adoption of the budget, the expenditure budget for the Lockport City School District at our next meeting, which will be next Wednesday, May 13th. And that's what we would need to know.
Okay. Board is prepared to, it will be on the agenda for next week to adopt. It's really the last possible date that we can. adopt. I just want to thank the board. This budget was supposed to be adopted back in March, and we have waited and postponed and tried to gather as much information as we could before moving forward. I know other districts have already adopted budgets, but I think this board has done its due diligence and waiting and trying to get as much information as possible. And so I appreciate the patience of the board and the job the district has done, Mrs. Bradley and her staff. Yeah, anything further, Mrs. Bradley?
The only thing I would add is our sources are saying that if not this week, next week, we could know more about budget cuts. And as soon as we get that information, we'll inform the board of what that figure looks like.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
And if there's no further questions or comments, with that, we will move on to the next discussion item, which is B, the review of the agenda for the meeting of May 13th and May 27th, 2020. Everyone
So
has
moved. Yep.
just a review. We don't need a motion.
Oh, good. Okay. I'm a little quick on my hand.
That's okay.
I-
That's okay.
I
Trustee
do
Harris.
I have a question though. Those dates aren't on the website for Board of Ed meetings.
That you are taking action tonight. It's under business item, action item number 4 to revise the Board of Education meeting. And
I must have the wrong. My agenda doesn't have any of that on there.
Should be a revised, trustee Harrod, should be a revised agenda for May 6th. And under item number 6A4 is the action.
Yeah, I only have 2 action items. I think this was the one that was sent on Friday.
yes, Bonnie was sending out one
It was on Monday.
Monday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Monday.
Yeah, the updated agendas were sent via email.
We got them yesterday.
Okay, Tuesday.
Okay.
I'll be happy to go over the revised dates with all of you as Trustee Hare's looking up her email. So again, in order to make the timeline to adopt the budget, we had to move the May 20th meeting to May 13th. So you will be meeting next Wednesday, May 13th, where you will adopt the budget. You're going to take it off the table and adopt the budget. Your May 20th meeting will no longer be needed. However, we will need a meeting on Wednesday, May 27th, so I can do the virtual public hearing as outlined. I need to do that. That's 14 days before the budget hearing. So you will have a brief meeting on Wednesday, May 27th at 5:00 p.m. At this time, there are no other agenda items on that meeting other than the virtual public hearing. Your meeting for June 3rd, Wednesday, June 3rd, will no longer be needed. You will be meeting on Wednesday, June 10th as scheduled, where you will accept the results of the vote from June 9th. We have then added another meeting on Wednesday, June 17th, to capture any additional personnel items and actions that Mrs. Schrader needs. So that is what is on your agenda. Item number 6A, business matters number 4. Okay? All good?
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Coder. Further review of the agenda for May 13th and May 27th?
I'm sorry. I have one more question. On the 27th, are we going to be able to take questions from the public?
Yes. Our
Okay.
Director of Technology, Mr. LaPuma, will be here to monitor all the emails and the questions coming in so I can answer them. Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. LaPuma.
That's excellent.
I think we're actually doing a dry run next week or a code of conduct, right? Or is it not? Yeah. So
We
we're
are
gonna-
using the same format, so you'll see
Yeah.
how it works.
So, right, Lisa's testing it for me. So
There might not be many questions, but
I'm going to call in Lisa just to test it out. So, yeah.
Thank you, Trustee Hare. Further questions, comments? Okay. With that, we're going to move on to action items. We have A, business matters. We have 1 through 4. I need a motion to approve, and we will do roll call, Mrs. Coder.
So moved on the motion.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, we need a motion. I apologize. No laughing, trustee Hare.
They couldn't
ahead.
hear me laugh.
I'm so efficient. I'm ahead of myself.
Me either.
We just
I-
need a second. Yeah.
I got the motion. Trustee.
I'll
Fields,
second it.
Trustee Hare. Discussion. Okay, and with that, we will have a roll call vote.
Trustee Fiegel,
Aye.
trustee Hare,
Aye.
trustee Kershaw,
Aye.
trustee Lambauser,
Aye.
trustee Pratt,
Aye.
trustee Tobin,
Aye.
trustee Young,
Aye.
President Linderman.
Aye. Motion is carried. Trustee Hare, I was just making sure you were paying attention, so we're good. Good job. Under action items B, we have personnel matters, appointments, resignations, and other. We have number 1 dated April 15th, 2020. I need a motion, please.
So moved.
Trustee Young, I need a second. Trustee
Second.
Corbin. Discussion? And with that, a roll call vote. Mrs. Coder?
Trustee Fiegel,
Aye.
trustee Hare,
Aye.
trustee Kershaw,
Aye.
trustee Lambauser,
Aye.
trustee Pratt,
Aye.
trustee Tobin,
Aye.
trustee Young,
Aye.
President Linderman.
Aye. Motion is carried. Also under personnel, we have numbers 2 through 3 dated April 22nd, 2020. I need a motion, please.
So moved.
Trustee Kershaw, I need a second.
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 Trustee Pratt. Discussion. Roll call vote.
Trustee Fiegel,
Aye.
trustee Hare,
Aye. Sorry.
trustee Kershaw,
Aye.
trustee Lambauser,
Aye.
trustee Pratt,
Aye.
trustee Tobin,
Aye.
trustee Young,
Aye.
President Linderman.
Aye. Motion is carried. Also under personnel, we have 4 through 5 dated April 30th, 2020. I need a motion, please.
So moved.
Trustee Fiegel, I need a second.
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 Trustee Young, you had her hand up first. Discussion. Roll call vote.
Trustee Fiegel,
Aye.
trustee Hare,
Aye.
trustee Kershaw,
Aye.
trustee Lambauser,
Aye.
trustee Pratt,
Aye.
trustee Tobin,
Aye.
trustee Young,
Aye.
President Linderman.
Aye. Motion is carried. And with that, the last item on our agenda tonight is to adjourn, and I need a motion, please.
So moved.
Trustee Hare, I need a second. Trustee
Second.
Young. I'm getting it. I need a discussion. Roll call vote to adjourn. Mrs. Cole.
Trustee Fiegel,
Aye.
trustee Hare,
Aye.
trustee Kershaw,
Aye.
trustee Lambauser,
Aye.
trustee Pratt,
Aye.
trustee Tobin,
Aye.
trustee Young,
Aye.
President Linderman.
Aye. We are adjourned. Thank you. See you guys next week.
Appreciate it.
Bye, everybody.
Do something with that hair next week, Kevin.
Good night, everybody. Thank you.
You're gonna have to get some product, Kevin. You're gonna have to venture into the world of hair gel.
This will bring me back to my ponytail days.
I can see that.
I had to cut a ponytail to get my job at the fire department.